The Eagles are heading into a crucial stretch of the season, and the pressure is mounting for a bounce-back performance. With just a handful of games left on the schedule, every matchup carries immense weight, and this upcoming clash against the Chargers is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing contests of the year. One of the biggest questions surrounding this game is the quarterback situation for Los Angeles. Justin Herbert, their star signal caller, is dealing with a recent fracture in his left hand that required surgery on Monday. The procedure involved inserting a plate and several screws to stabilize the injury. And while Herbert is committed to being on the field, his participation ultimately depends on the medical staff's assessment of whether playing would risk further damage. Herbert has expressed his determination to play, and he has already taken part in team walkthroughs, preparing as if he will start. However, the final decision likely won't be made until later in the week, possibly right before game time, leaving fans and analysts alike in suspense. Chargers offensive coordinator Greg Roman has offered an optimistic outlook, suggesting that Herbert's presence under center is highly likely, but the uncertainty still looms over this high-stakes matchup. The quarterback situation directly impacts not just the passing game, but also how the Chargers will approach their offensive scheme. If Herbert plays, the team will rely heavily on pistol and gun formations, reducing traditional under-center snaps and shaping the way the Eagles' defense must prepare. While some expect Herbert to suit up, the risk of playing behind an offensive line that has struggled might limit his effectiveness. The Chargers' offensive line has been one of the weaker units in the league this season, struggling both in pass protection and run blocking. Their overall pass protection score ranks near the bottom, highlighting a vulnerability that the Eagles' defensive front will certainly aim to exploit. This presents a prime opportunity for the Eagles' defensive line to step up, especially after a disappointing performance against the Bears in their most recent outing. The defense needs to regain its aggressiveness and assert control over the line of scrimmage, particularly when it comes to stopping the run game, which has been a persistent concern. However, the Eagles will face a significant setback as they enter this critical game. Jalen Carter, one of the team's top defensive linemen, will be unavailable after undergoing surgery on both shoulders. Carter has battled injuries throughout the season, particularly shoulder issues that have limited his performance at times, even though he's still managed to show flashes of the dominant player fans are accustomed to seeing. His absence is a substantial blow to a defensive line that has struggled for consistency all season, ranking low in both sacks and yards per carry allowed. With Carter sidelined, the Eagles must lean more heavily on other defensive linemen, such as Jordan Davis and Mora Jomo, to fill the void, while rookies like Ty Robinson may see increased opportunities to contribute. Byron Young and potentially Gabe Hall could also factor more prominently in the rotation, adding depth but still presenting a challenge for the team to maintain its defensive intensity without Carter on the field. On the other side of the ball, the Chargers have shown resilience despite offensive line struggles, particularly in the running game. They are expected to have their top running back, Omari Hampton, returning from an ankle fracture that sidelined him since early October. This adds another layer of complexity for the Eagles' defense, which must now account for a more dynamic rushing attack, while simultaneously adjusting to the absence of their most impactful defensive lineman. The matchup promises to be a test of strategy and execution, as the Eagles seek to dominate up front against a Chargers offensive line that has allowed an alarming number of sacks this season. The unit's struggles have been highlighted by former Eagles player and Super Bowl champion Mike Becton, whose transition to Los Angeles has been fraught with injuries and inconsistent performance. Becton has faced challenges in both run blocking and pass protection, even being sidelined at times due to injury, which has impacted the Chargers' overall offensive efficiency. Despite the difficulties, Becton remains a factor in the equation, and the Eagles' pass rush will aim to exploit any weaknesses that present themselves. Meanwhile, the Eagles' offseason departures continue to make headlines. Darius Slay, who was recently released by the Steelers, had the potential to return to Philadelphia, but the Bills claimed him off waivers, thwarting an immediate reunion. Interestingly, Slay has expressed uncertainty about whether he will continue playing, leaving the possibility open that he could force a scenario allowing him to return to the Eagles. This developing storyline adds another layer of intrigue for the team and its fan base, who have followed Slay's career closely. His potential return could have major implications for Philadelphia's secondary, but for now, the focus remains on navigating the immediate challenges of the roster, particularly in light of injuries to key defensive personnel. The Eagles' practice sessions reflect the ongoing adjustments required to cope with these challenges. With Jalen Carter recovering from shoulder surgery, Lane Johnson also remains absent as he works back from foot injury, adding more uncertainty to the lineup. Meanwhile, players like Xavier Gibson are participating in practice, potentially impacting the punt return game, although Britton CVY recently took over those duties and performed well despite limited opportunities. The team is clearly experimenting and adapting, balancing player development with the necessity of maintaining competitive performance as they approach one of the most critical stretches of the season. Every decision, every lineup adjustment, and every strategic choice now carries amplified importance, given the Eagles' pursuit of a playoff position and the need to maximize performance with key players unavailable. Looking ahead to the Chargers game, it is clear that the Eagles' defense has both a significant opportunity and a formidable challenge. The matchup against a weakened offensive line offers a chance to generate pressure, force turnovers, and control the tempo of the game. Yet the absence of Jalen Carter and other contributors complicates the task, requiring precise execution and heightened focus from the defensive front. The team's depth will be tested, with rookies and less experienced players needing to rise to the occasion. At the same time, the offense and special teams must adapt to the evolving roster dynamics, ensuring that the Eagles remain competitive in all phases of the game. As the Eagles continue to prepare for their matchup against the Chargers, the spotlight remains on the defensive line, which faces both pressure and opportunity. Without Jalen Carter, the responsibility to generate a consistent pass rush falls more heavily on players like Jordan Davis and Mora Jomo, who must step up to fill the void left by one of the team's most disruptive forces. Rookie Ty Robinson may also see more significant snaps, offering a chance to prove himself at the professional level, though the coaching staff will likely manage his involvement carefully to avoid overwhelming a first-year player. Byron Young and Gabe Hall are expected to see additional action as well, providing depth and rotation that could prove crucial in keeping the defense fresh and aggressive throughout the game. The defensive front's performance will be pivotal not only in pressuring Herbert, should he play, but also in containing the Chargers' running attack, which has improved with the return of Omari Hampton. The running back situation for Los Angeles adds another layer of complexity to the Eagles' game planning. Hampton's return after an ankle fracture brings explosiveness and versatility to the Chargers' backfield. Even though their offensive line has struggled, Hampton's ability to find seams and gain yards after contact makes him a dangerous weapon that the Eagles' linebackers and interior defensive linemen must account for on every play. The Eagles will need to maintain discipline, gap integrity, and effective tackling if they hope to limit big plays. While the Chargers' offensive line has been a liability overall, their ability to run the ball has not disappeared entirely, meaning the Eagles cannot simply focus on the quarterback and must remain vigilant against a balanced attack. On the other side of the ball, the Eagles' offense faces its own set of challenges and opportunities. With the defensive front under pressure due to injuries, Philadelphia's offensive line will have a chance to exploit gaps and establish the run game more effectively. The team must capitalize on this, sustaining drives and controlling the clock to keep the Chargers' offense off the field. Quarterback play will be crucial, with the Eagles needing consistency, quick decision-making, and precise execution to navigate a defense that, despite injuries, is still capable of creating havoc with timely pressure. Skill position players will have to perform at a high level, finding space in coverage, securing the ball, and making the most of scoring opportunities to give the Eagles the edge in what is expected to be a tightly contested matchup. Meanwhile, the unfolding saga of Darius Slay adds an unexpected narrative layer for the Eagles. Slay's release from the Steelers and subsequent waiver claim by the Bills created a moment of uncertainty. Yet his reported hesitation to report to Buffalo leaves the possibility of a reunion in Philadelphia alive. Slay's potential return could reinforce the Eagles' secondary, giving the team a seasoned playmaker with familiarity in the system. While this development is speculative, it injects excitement into the Eagles' offseason storyline and provides fans with a sense of anticipation about how the team's roster could evolve leading into the playoffs. His situation underscores the broader theme of roster management, where injuries, waiver moves, and player decisions can have ripple effects on team chemistry, strategy, and performance. Special teams are also under the microscope as Philadelphia navigates personnel shifts. With Lane Johnson sidelined due to a foot injury and Xavier Gibson participating in practice, the punt return game requires careful consideration. Britton CVY's recent promotion to active roster and his initial performance in taking over punt returns indicates the coaching staff's willingness to adapt to changing circumstances. Maintaining consistency in special teams is critical, as field position and turnovers often decide closely contested games. The Eagles' coaching staff must balance player development with maximizing performance, ensuring that rookies and substitutes are integrated effectively without compromising execution in high-pressure situations. Off the field, the Eagles continue to demonstrate leadership and community impact, exemplified by Jordan Mailata being nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. This recognition highlights the importance of character and contribution beyond football, reinforcing the culture within the team and setting an example for younger players. Such accolades reflect the organization's commitment not only to competitive excellence, but also to fostering a positive influence in the broader community, a value that resonates with fans and players alike. Looking at the Chargers, their struggles and strengths provide both challenges and opportunities for Philadelphia. While the offensive line has been problematic, the team still boasts skilled players capable of exploiting weaknesses in coverage and executing high-efficiency plays. Mike Becton, despite a difficult first season in Los Angeles marred by injuries and inconsistent play, remains a key figure whose presence can impact both the run and pass games. The Eagles' defensive strategy must account for him while also adapting to the overall inconsistency of the Chargers' offensive front. Game planning will focus on pressure, gap control, and discipline, but it will also require flexibility to respond to in-game adjustments from the Chargers. The stakes of this matchup extend beyond a single win or loss. For the Eagles, success in this game could solidify momentum heading into the final stretch of the regular season, while a defeat could raise doubts and put additional pressure on the team to perform in subsequent matchups. With injuries, roster changes, and uncertainty surrounding opposing personnel, every play becomes more critical. The coaching staff must balance risk and reward, deciding when to press advantages and when to protect players, all while maintaining a consistent approach to execution and discipline. This strategic balancing act underscores the complexity of preparing for an opponent whose strengths and weaknesses fluctuate based on injuries and availability. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves across the American sports landscape, whispers are swirling that the Philadelphia Eagles are preparing to make a blockbuster acquisition that could redefine the NFC East rivalry. Sources close to the situation suggest that Dak Prescott, the longtime star quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, might be heading to Philadelphia, leaving fans on both sides of the Delaware River in disbelief. The rumor first ignited in hushed corridors of NFL circles, with insiders claiming that talks between Prescott's camp and the Eagles' front office have been serious and ongoing. While no official announcement has been made, the mere suggestion of Prescott swapping the Cowboys' blue for the Eagles' green has caused a media frenzy, with analysts speculating on everything from contract details to the potential impact on the division standings. Fans on social media are divided, some seeing it as a daring masterstroke by the Eagles management, others as a betrayal of Cowboys' loyalty. The potential acquisition raises intriguing questions about the team's offensive strategy, the role of their current roster, and how Prescott's arrival could shift the balance of power in the NFC East. Imagine the headlines, the locker room dynamics, the interviews, and, of course, the explosive matchups that could follow. NFL pundits are already predicting heated debates and endless what-if scenarios. Could this be a strategic gamble that pays off, or a dramatic story that will haunt Philadelphia fans for years if it falters? Meanwhile, whispers suggest that Prescott himself is open to the challenge, intrigued by the prospect of donning a new jersey and stepping into the spotlight with a team hungry for championship contention. As the league braces for what could be one of the most talked-about moves in recent history, the tension is palpable. Every insider source seems to hint at a seismic shift, yet everyone is waiting for that official word. One thing is clear. If this rumor holds any weight, the Eagles are poised to make a statement that will echo far beyond the gridiron. The NFL world is watching, waiting, and speculating, knowing full well that when a star like Dak Prescott potentially crosses enemy lines, history could be rewritten in real time. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.